What's up, everybody? John Moorehouse here for Fightful.com. We are less than 24 hours away from Best in the World Ring of Honor pay-per-view coming this Friday night from Massachusetts, which is not far away from where this guest calls home, Hanson, one half of War Machine. Hanson, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So you guys just got back from Japan, yet another tour of Japan. They're at Dominion, which has been a highly acclaimed event, where you did lose the IWGP tag titles to Guerrillas of Destiny. Now you're turning right around, facing the Young Bucks, trying to become two-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions this weekend. It's been a busy month for you guys with some big matches.
Yeah, it sure has. And we got the Bucks on pay-per-view on Friday. We got some machine guns, Moore machine guns for the first time ever on Saturday at the TV taping. Same building in Lowell. And we got the Guerrillas of Destiny in a rematch coming up in LA. No DQ for the IWGP Tag Championship. So right now, with the Young Bucks tomorrow night and with the Guerrillas in a week to become two-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions and two-time IWGP Tag Team Champions in a matter of a week.
Well, maybe you can get new gear with all the different belts on it like the Young Bucks have if you end up winning all these titles here in the next week or two. So
maybe we could and add some fringe to it. It looks great.
You don't seem like fringe guys to me. I think the leather armor looking stuff, I think that's Moriel's vibe.
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of funny because you look at, like Guerrillas of Destiny, they're brothers, Young Bucks, they're brothers. You and Ray were really just kind of thrown together, and now you've been, Ring of Honor champs, you've been IWGP champs, and I talked to Ray about this yesterday, just kind of how crazy it is, how far you guys have come in such a short time, especially when it was basically, a makeshift team where you guys were basically thrown together like, hey, let's try this out.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about it, how we've really become brothers, and it was crazy how we were just thrown together, and we never knew each other before. We didn't know each other before the Top Prospect Tournament.
Yeah.
And you probably talked with Ray about this too, but
I did.
How Ring of Honor put us together, and we just kind of hit it off and realized how similar we are. Similar in our careers, similar in our ideals. We both don't drink, we both don't smoke, both straight edge. Mm-hmm. In this world, especially in the wrestling world, it's hard to find people who are straight edge in general. And just to randomly be thrown into a team together, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But we've hit it off, and we went at this thing, we got put together, if this was the cards that were dealt, if we're going to be a tag team, then we're going to be the best damn tag team in the world. So we put everything we had to it. I think other teams, makeshift teams in the past, they don't go all in. They don't dedicate themselves to the team, to the idea. So me and Ray, right away, we dedicated ourselves to War Machine, and it's paying off right now.
Well, I think it's also interesting, and this is something that Ray touched on as well. You guys kind of flip the concept of a tag team, because neither one of you is small. Like, I've seen Ray in person at an independent show here near where I live in Tennessee. He's not a small guy, but you're bigger than he is. But you're the one that does more like the high flying and the flips and all that. And then where he's smaller, but he does more of the power stuff. Like, not that you don't. Like, that's just more his style.
It's my favorite part of our tag team is our dynamic. I mean, people have seen the Road Warriors before, but not with this dynamic, not with one high flyer, not with one strong guy, or you look into the past, any team that has a big guy and a smaller guy, mm-hmm. and it's always roles reversed. Always the bigger guy is the stronger guy throwing guys around, and the smaller guy is the high flyer moving. You think of Yokozuna and Owen Hart. I don't know why Men on Mission's popping in my head, but that's the way that it was. And we have a completely different dynamic than any other team in the past. I can't think of a team that ever had this kind of dynamic. And it makes us very unique when we wrestle, because no one's ever seen it before. And that's the most exciting part of our tag team, to me anyway. I know as a fan, that's where I would gravitate towards, is just seeing something that I've never seen before. And that's what Ray and I offer.
And it's something that's been now, it's been embraced by both Ring of Honor fans and New Japan fans. What has that been like? I guess you guys made your debut with them late last year. Now you've been on several tours, and then to be IWGP champions on top of that, to win those titles, and the teams that have won them, and some of the the names that have won them. What was that just a surreal experience for you?
Yeah, that's the best way I could describe it. Everybody keeps asking me, and that's really the only way I can describe it. But from the moment we debuted over there, I know Ray talks about how it's always been his dream to wrestle in Japan, and how this is a major dream come true, what we've accomplished. And for me, same, but also, like, I've always been told that I do great in Japan, I do wonderful in Japan, and I always felt like I probably would do wonderful in Japan if given the opportunity. And now Ray and I have been given the opportunity, and to go to Japan and like every single tour, every single match, just feel the audience gravitate towards us. Mm-hmm. Throughout all of Tag League last year, it was just one show after another. We'd go out and relatively unknown to the Japan audience, and then by the time we left the ring and left the building, they were embracing us. And every single match we've had over there, every single event, we felt that every single time. Secure Genesis, when we won the tag titles, we went out against two legends, Kojima and Tenzan, at Sumo Hall, and they were clearly the fan favorites. But by the time the match ended, the people were on their feet for us, for us winning the tag titles, and that's the way it's been our whole time over there. Just feeling that. So being there and feeling it. It's even more, it gives me goosebumps right now. It's even more amazing, even more surreal to feel that audience come with us, and realizing what people have said to me before, how good we do over there, and being able to do it and feel it, it's indescribable.
And that match where you beat Tenzan and Kojima also includes like one of the grossest lariats in a good way that I've ever seen that Kojima did to your partner. It was gross. It was gross, and everyone should go watch it. And if not watch the whole match, find the clip, which is probably on New Japan's like YouTube or something. It was gross in every good way possible.
Yeah, it's just brutal. That's Kojima, man. Kojima throws those lariats.
As a bigger guy and a guy who does high flying stuff, I was curious what your take is on the whole. For a few weeks ago, the whole dive thing. The Rip Rogers put out the whole thing about dives and this and that and the other. And as a guy who does some high-flying stuff, but is a bigger guy, what is your take on that? And I guess how wrestling, in particular, like independent wrestling, Ring of Honor style wrestling, has sort of evolved?
Well, I think right now we're living in the era of the GIF, or GIF, or however you want to pronounce it online.
Yeah.
And especially the younger wrestlers, they tend to only want to wrestle for that. They want to have these matches where they know there's going to be some gifts out there and get them exposure. And it does. It gives them exposure, and it puts them on a platform where all sorts of people can see them. But at the same time, they don't necessarily know what they're doing yet. Mm-hmm. So they get this exposure, but then if they're put into a high-level situation, they're not necessarily going to succeed. And I think it's that part or that element of wrestling, it's hurting the business some. Mm-hmm. So part of me wants to agree a little bit with Rip Rogers or Randy Orton for that matter. Mm-hmm. But then part of me is like, the business has evolved in general, and it's not 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I mean, we just saw Okada and Kenny Omega go for an hour. And it wasn't a headlock match like Rip Rogers would be a huge fan of, or an OVW special. But wrestling's evolved, and dives and crazy spots are a part of the business now. Mm-hmm. And it's all part of the storytelling that we do, and where these huge moments happen in a match. So I don't know. I kind of agree or see both sides of the scenario, if you will.
Yeah.
So I can't really take a side, but ultimately, I guess the business is constantly evolving, and it's not always going to be headlock matches.
Sure.
Or the wrist locks. So it's part of the evolution.
When that chance with Ring of Honor first came, a few years ago with the Top Prospect tournament, and I know you did a little bit with them prior to that, you had been part of wrestling for a long time before that. I want to say more than a decade. And kind of like, right? No? Am I wrong?
Yeah. I'm 15 years in now.
So, yeah.
Almost 16 years when I first started training. So, yeah, it was a long time.
You and Ray both, had been grinding for a really, really long time before getting that chance. And I asked him this same question. At any point prior to that, had you just kind of resigned yourself to, well, I'm just going to be a quote-unquote regional wrestler, and it's just not going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I did. My goal was never Ring of Honor. Where I trained, it was WWE or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And we trained for WWE. And I did years and years and years and years of extra work with WWE just trying to get my foot in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time it was always get in better shape, get in better shape, get in better shape. And I'm straight edge. I don't take steroids. That era was big on 6'2", 220 with abs. At one point, I got down to 6'2", 235. I'm 6'2" in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have abs. I didn't have that body that they were looking for. So it was just heartening. At that time period, seeing guys get signed that, they weren't even coordinating. They could hardly walk and chew gum at the same time. But they had that $1 million body, so they got signed.
That period when everybody looked the same.
Yeah, I'm grinding my ass off. I wanted to be the best professional wrestler I could be, and I was good, and I knew I was good, and I'm seeing guys get signed who just, like I said, they couldn't chew bubblegum and walk at the same time, but they had pecs and abs and looked like $1 million, and they got signed.
Yeah.
And that was depressing. And then I got injured. I fractured my spine. That put on a ton of weight on me. I had to take almost a year off from wrestling. Thought I was done, but I came back. Doctors told me I was done, but I came back. At that point, I had figured, all right, I'm just going to be a regional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my back. I'm put on this weight. There's no way I'm going to do anything.
Yeah, you broke it. Was it having a match? Was it in a match that you broke your back?
I don't know. It was for like 2.5 years. I had the pain, and I thought it was my hip. And went to the doctors, and they when I described the pain, he told me it wasn't my hip, it was my back. Got X-rays, MRI. I had a large fracture on my left side and a smaller fracture on my right side. Poor doctor was terrified to tell me that I'm broken it.
Yeah. And when was that?
I want to say 2008.
Oh, wow.
2008, 2009, like that. But when I came back from that, I figured that's it. I'll just be a wrestler around here, and kind of gave up. And I ended up having a match with Tommaso Ciampa right in Lowell, actually, where the pay-per-view is tomorrow night. The Chaotic Wrestling, and we killed it. There was a kid who did the video for Chaotic at the time, Harry Aaron. He made a video of it, put it online, and at that point, I caught wind that Ring of Honor might have took a little bit of an interest in me because of the buzz that the video got.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, this is awesome. I'm gonna go for Ring of Honor. Why not? Why not try Ring of Honor? I never really had the major interest in it, but this is gonna be my place. This is where I'm gonna make my name. And literally, the same night I was catching that wind that Ring of Honor might have a little bit of interest in me, I tore my entire labrum in a match. Ended up having to have surgery. And that took me out almost 9 months.
Yeah.
So when I came back from that injury, that was when I decided to really change my look and just change everything and give this all one last go and make Ring of Honor my top priority. So I had surgery. I ended up growing my beard at that point in time. I lost 90 pounds doing vegetable juice fasting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Only did deep yoga until I could actually lift weights again, started CrossFit, and just changed everything. And about 5 months, 5 months after that return, I went to a Ring of Honor camp and really caught their eye. And shortly after, I did a WWE tryout, which I had already ruled out. It was the first tryout at the Performance Center. And I went there. That was kind of weird, seeing all the names that were there, like the American Wolves and Keith Lee and Matt Cross. A lot of guys. None of us got signed that day. It's crazy, but we were all on the radar. But eventually, Ring of Honor gave me the call for that top roster tournament, and I guess the rest is history. Just give it an opportunity.
Yeah.
Ray gave it an opportunity too in the top roster tournament, and we just went out and killed it, and thrown together, and here we are.
Thrown together, and Ray pointed out, like, you guys barely even touched or talked the whole first day of that top prospect tournament, and pretty much went into those finals as, strangers.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that first day of the top prospect tournament, we had to wrestle 2 matches with taping. So me and him both had to wrestle 2 matches. So talking to each other at all wasn't going to happen. We had to figure out what we were doing for the whole day. So
sure, we
had too much to prepare for. So yeah, we didn't talk really at all. I don't think we might have shook hello. That was it.
Yeah.
Other than that, we didn't get to know each other until the finals in Pittsburgh.
And now you're spending all kinds of time together, all the time.
Yes. Constant time.
And also, apparently...
But it's great. We couldn't be more lucky because we get along so well.
You mentioned your beard, and it is a fine beard. Ray said that sometimes you guys will have like a friendly debate over whose beard is better.
Yeah, well, it's not really a friendly debate. It's really I have the better beard, and that's how we end it. What it really is Ray and I have 2 different beards. Yeah. Ultimately. Ray is very, he wants his nice, well-trimmed, nice, kept real nice, and I don't feel that's in the nature of Hanson. I believe that I need to have wild hair and wild beard, and wild chest hair for that matter, to really conceive the look that I'm going for. So I've never once trimmed my beard.
It shows. It's a fine beard.
I might have the best smelling beard in all of professional wrestling, and that's very underrated. I use all sorts of beard oil and beard balm to make sure that my beard is looking and smelling its best.
I'm sure your opponents appreciate that, as big as it is. You pull them into like a hole.
Yeah, when I rake their face with my beard. Yeah.
I'm going to talk to him at Fightful. We may put a poll up on who has the better beard, and we'll let the people decide.
I'm down with that. I know I'll win. That's why I'm down with that.
Ring of Honor, New Japan kind of split in time right now. We've seen a greater Ring of Honor presence kind of in New Japan here as that working relationship develops. I asked Ray this. I'll ask you. Anybody else in Ring of Honor who you feel like is poised to sort of have a breakout in New Japan or should get that chance that hasn't yet, in your opinion?
Who did Ray say?
Ray said Shane Taylor.
Of course. I knew he was going to do that. Of course, Shane's a good mold for Japan. I would agree with Ray there. But at the same time, Shane's in his infancy in Ring of Honor. So I think Shane would benefit from growing more in Ring of Honor before he went to Japan. But guys who have been in Ring of Honor for a while now, who really could probably go to Japan and kill it. Dalton Castle's an easy pick, and Silas Young, I think.
Oh yeah,
them have given some tours over in Japan, some opportunities. They could really, really do some cool stuff and really get over. But only if given that opportunity. They've only been there a couple times for those Honor Rising shows. And I think if they were given tours over there, those opportunities for tours, and to really learn and grow in Japan, they do real well.
I think in terms of characters, I think Dalton Castle is one of the best characters in wrestling right now. I think he's a lot of fun. And you guys got to dress up as the boys here. It's been a few months, but what was that like?
That was awesome. We were excited to do that. We weren't sure if they were even going to let us do that, so we just kind of went under the radar and did it ourselves. but that was the right thing to do. That was a lot of fun. We love Dalton. And it was a good opportunity. It was Milwaukee. Go out there in front of that Milwaukee audience and be the boys for a night. That was a good time.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other thoughts on this pay-per-view this weekend for Ring of Honor as we start wrapping this thing up?
Well, we've wrestled the Bucks a few times now, but never with. We've wrestled the Bucks a few times now, but never with this kind of platform.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Ray and I might be most excited about. Obviously, there's the opportunity to win the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship. That's major. But to be able to go out and perform in front of, on this platform and wrestle the Bucks, we've gotten so much good feedback wrestling the Bucks before, and we don't think that people have had the opportunity to actually see it. So this time, we have that opportunity. Live on pay-per-view, in Lowell, Mass, literally, those 15 years that we talked about me wrestling, all 15 years I've been wrestling in Lowell. So I'm pumped to go into the Lowell Memorial Auditorium, a historic venue. I went and saw house shows there when I was a kid. To go into that building, live on pay-per-view, wrestle the most popular tag team in the world. Not the best tag team in the world, and that would be us. And tonight, or tomorrow night, we have that opportunity to prove it. So we're pumped. There
you go. How can people keep up with you, social media and whatnot? And if there's anything you would like to plug, you may now plug away.
My Instagram is gold, at Warbeard Hanson. Ray and I, with all of our travels, we try to go everywhere we can and see everything we can, and I post as many pictures as I can. So if you're interested in what me and Ray are doing when we're traveling, please follow me on Instagram at Warbeard Hanson, and it's the same exact handle on Twitter at Warbeard Hanson. And check out our ProWrestlingTees.com store. We have, I think, 4 shirts now, maybe 2 more on their way, so we're about to have 6 shirts up there, and they're selling like hotcakes.
Next, you can start selling little beards for the kids to wear.
Absolutely.
Jason Kincaid actually used to do that. Because he shows up here and interviews Smoke Out, and he had little beards made of like paper or plastic, and he would sell them to kids.
That's awesome.
And he sold quite a few.
People got to look out for our wrestling figures that are coming out.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. They look like you and everything. I think they look really cool. As someone who has an embarrassing collection. Sweet. Yeah. Do you ever think you'd have an action figure of yourself?
I always hoped. Definitely hoped. Maybe this was the goal. I probably can retire now because now I'm in action.
There you have it. Best in the World this Friday night, Lowell, Massachusetts. You can check it out on pay-per-view and follow all the action as it happens, live results and discussion on Fightful.com. Hanson, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, brother.
All right.